Okay, we're on attempt number 4 of the 24-hour training marathon presentation slash tutorial. All right, guys. So our start date is going to be June 7th. We're going to start at 12 a.m. That's a Friday. So you start Friday at 12 a.m. We're going to finish June 8th, which is Saturday at 12 a.m. So you get the rest of the weekend to rest and recover and then be excited to get back to work on Monday. All right. First of all, don't worry, guys. I know it's 2 weeks, but it's not too late. Luke, the goofball over there on the right, he got it all done in just 2 days. If he can do it, you certainly can. I remember he came up to me in my office and I was like, "Hey, Luke, like, where are we at with the marathon? Like, we almost there because everybody else was pretty much done." And he's like, I'm like, "What do you mean, And he's like, "I only have 3 people." I was like, okay, whatever. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. How do you only have 3? Because I just forgot. And I was like, okay. So I'm going to tell you guys how we did that and how we got Luke all the way to 24, and he still did all 24 training sessions. But first, let me tell you why we're doing the training marathon, or why you should do the training marathon. Because if you're not going to do it, how am I going to get your trainers to do it? So here's why you should do it as an FM. Okay, so let's talk about club success, aka money in your pocket, because that's what that really means, right? If it's our jobs to get the club to succeed, club does better, we do better. So pros. On average, guys, it's going to be an average of $70 a training session. If you're in a different market, maybe it's going to be inflated above that because you're using a lot of your active clients. But roughly $70 times 24 appointments times hopefully at least 3 trainers. That's $5,040 in revenue. For some of you guys, that might be like 25% of the way to the goal, which is amazing. On top of that, it's $302 into your pocket immediately. And that's not even including any of the training sessions you're going to be doing. Roughly 302, by the way. Put a disclaimer. Okay. Next up, residual increase in closing percentage. Guys, one of the reasons that West Central historically has closed above 40% for I think 4 or 5 years now is something we don't really talk about, but it's the fact that we already have a massive presence of training in the gym. I mean, some of you guys have big gyms and you guys already have a training presence as well. It is so much easier to get someone to sign up for personal training when they see 5 to 10 other people have already made that same decision in the 1 hour they happen to walk into the club. This is the same reason that Pepsi puts 1 million people drinking Pepsi cans in all of their advertising. It's bandwagon advertising, but it's real and it's in front of your face and it's not on a TV. It's real people that have already purchased PT. And so people get to see that on this day. You're going to have so many people training, and every member who walks in the gym is going to see, holy cow, like this place, people train. All right, next up, we're going to have a residual increase in trainer contacts per day. One of the biggest hurdles I run into with new trainers is that they're just afraid to talk to people, right? So we teach them this crazy long sales process and how to tell people like what to do and what to ask them and when to ask it and what tone to use and what pace to use and all this other crazy stuff. At the end of the day, all of us FMs hopefully know that sales is just a casual conversation. And by taking out the idea of, oh, I got to get this person set up for a PFA, and then I got to get them to sign up for a $3,060 training package. Otherwise, my FM is going to be mad at me. Now, that's all gone. All they got to do is get someone to sign up to show up one singular time, which they're probably already doing if they're in the gym. And that brings all the pressure out of it. It's one time, it's $60, it's not a big deal, and all your other trainers are pitching the same thing. And so your trainers are going to make a ton of contacts, realize how easy it is and how casual it is, and they're going to feel more confident about making contacts in the future, and they're going to make significantly more contacts for you. Next up, trainers are going to make more money that day than they ever have. The first time I did this, I did 26 training sessions in a row. It came out to, I believe, $1,200 is what I made that day. For a lot of trainers, especially my new ones last year, it was more than they had made in an entire paycheck. They had all made in one singular day. So that was amazing. Super easy way to leverage getting your trainers to do this. On top of that, you're going to get a massive increase in your trainer buy-in. Your trainers are not only going to see that this is real, that you can actually make money doing it, but they're also going to see that we do this to help people. And for new trainers, that's a really big deal. I can't tell you how many new trainers I've had come up to me and tell me like, Tiger, I don't know that I want to sell people. Like, I'm just in here to help people out. Awesome. Here's how we help people out. On average, guys, I pulled my trainers on this. It averaged out to where they all added 3 new long-term clients. So if you do 10 trainers in your club and they all do this, that's 30 new clients into your program long-term. That is a massive, massive inflection point in what your PT revenue is going to look like month over month if you get a lot of trainers to participate in this. Cons, you're going to be a little bit sleepy for a weekend. Moment of silence to everyone who just exited the presentation, guys. I put the baby imagery up there on purpose. Being sleepy for one weekend, guys, doesn't measure anywhere close to the amount of impact we're going to have on your income, as well as the impact we're going to have on our communities if we make this a big deal. So we're going to sacrifice ourselves a little bit. We're going to be a little bit tired. I know it's scary, it's daunting, it's challenging, but I promise you guys it's going to pay off in the end. Don't worry about being a little bit sleepy. That's the worst thing that can happen to you. So other pros that don't necessarily correlate 100% to income, but long-term will correlate to income anyways. Okay. So they are who we thought they were. If you haven't seen that post-game interview, highly recommend you Google it. It's super funny. But that's what I thought of when I put this up at first. We all got into this business, guys, because we want to help people, right? That's what we all told Preston in the interview when we were trying to become an FM, or told Andy if you were a trainer. At the end of the day, we're here to help people. This is us truly embodying and doing that. So we get to look ourselves in the mirror at the end of the day and be like, man, I'm really am in it to help people. And the sense of self-pride that you get for that is amazing. We're going to help hundreds to thousands of people in one day, right? And a lot of people are like, what is this guy talking about? Don't worry. The last 2 years, this has been our highest interacted with social media day every single time we've done the marathon. Our Instagram account, I believe, has roughly 40,000 followers. Okay. This is going to be huge, especially if we can make this a company-wide thing, and it's massive. I mean, our whole club was talking about it. I can't imagine if we got 10 clubs to talk about it. It's a big impact point, and people are going to be inspired by that. Massive uptick in member belief. Your members, right? They talk about your personal trainers. You know, they're coming up to me. They're trying to sell me stuff all the time. They want me to buy supplements. They want me to sign up with them for PT. This immediately discredits all of those comments, because we're truly doing this to help people. It's not about money. We're not really charging that much to do it. All we're trying to do is drive some awareness around exercise and health. And we're doing that by putting ourselves on the line. No member can really say that you're selfish and only care about income when you just didn't sleep for 24 hours straight just so you could help promote exercise. Also, we're leading by example. If you're an FM, I think it's amazing if you go ahead and take part in this and you work 24 hours alongside your trainers. Shows the trainers that you believe not only in the company, but you believe in fitness and health. So you're never going to get questioned again when you try to teach them how to sell. And leading by example is one of the core values of our company. I think this is truly the embodiment of that. Also for our trainers, leading by example for our members and showing how much we're willing to put ourselves in the line just to help them out. It's a super fun night with your training staff. I wish I was tech savvy enough to upload like a snippet of some of the dancing videos from that night. But some of the other fun things we did is we got, the members at the end of each session, we'd all do like some sort of fitness challenge, and it was a ton of fun. Highly recommend if you're interested in that, you can go to my Instagram and you can look at tiger.faulkner. I have a bunch of highlights from West Central, and in there I have all of this last year's training marathon pretty early on. Highly recommend you go watch that. It's super funny, and you're going to be hopefully taking part in that. All right. Next up is going to be a legacy increase. And I put a question mark there because for some of us that might not matter. I know I told the story last weekend when I was in Cabo for our secret weapon competition, where some older trainers at my club had told me, like, you don't want Rodney to know your name. Like, if Rodney knows your name, that means you did something bad, right? And I was young and impressionable, and I was like, well, that seems kind of weird. Like, I think I'd want Rodney to know my name because I'm doing such a good job, right? Like, wouldn't that be good for me? And I remember after I won Trainer of the Year, I think I ran into Rodney somewhere. I can't remember exactly how it went, but I know I essentially recognized that he didn't know my name and didn't know that I was the guy that had won Trainer of the Year the past year, which is super funny, especially looking back on it now. But once I did the training marathon later on after that year, Rodney then knew my name, and he knew I was the guy that had won Trainer of the Year, and he knew where I worked at and everything else. So awesome inflection point for increasing that legacy and showing that you're truly committed to not only our company, but you're committed to the impact that we're trying to make as a company. Next up, you're going to challenge yourself. And so when I originally did the first training marathon, Andy had came to me, and we were at McAllister's. We were walking through the parking lot, and he asked me, he goes, Tiger, how many training sessions can you do in a row before you need a break? And he called them splits, so we're not talking about push-pull legs here. And I was like, I think I could do 6 to maybe 8, because I was doing roughly 12 to 14 sessions a day during that time period. And he's like, holy cow, 6 is really good. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, in Philadelphia, they could only do 3 or 4, and they all needed a break. 4 was good. And that made me really mad, because I was like, I don't want to be limited at all or need a break. That's not something Annie and I have ever talked about. We usually talk about not needing to take a break. And so I thought to myself, if I challenge myself and I work 24 hours in a row, I'm going to make the future long hours seem super, super easy. And sure enough, that ended up being true. Every day I did 10 or 12 after that felt like a breeze because I had just done 24. Increased community sense in the club. I was telling you guys that we used to get all the members together at the end of each training session to do some sort of fitness challenge. Like one time we just played knockout, right? All 144 members that participated in that event that day got to share that alike, that they had all done that same thing. And the ones that specifically had interacted and talked to each other, they all like kind of became friends, and it increases that huge community sense in the club that's so important for getting our members to come back. Lastly, is self-pride. I already touched that on at the beginning, but again, the amount of pride you feel after you do something like this, I compare it to running a marathon. No, I've never ran a marathon, Andy, I know. Okay. But after you get done doing the 24-hour trainings or 24-hour marathon, you truly feel like you did something bigger than just you. And I imagine that's how running a marathon feels. Other cons, guys, the burnout babies, they're going to be really sad. I call them burnout babies because I don't believe in burnout. I think that's kind of nonsense. I think our job is incredibly fulfilling, and I'm so lucky to be a part of the company and do it. And so there's no chance I could ever get burnout, right? Nobody gets burnout on something they love. I think by doing this, it's going to be hilarious because a lot of people are going to say like, oh, you're going to get burnt out, right? And that's fine because they're not going to be a part of this. And we are, and we're not going to get burnt out. We're going to stay in the company. So what is it, guys? It's 24 hours of pure adrenaline. No, I'm kidding. Let's get into the real stuff. How do we do this? What's going on? So it's 24 paid sessions in a row for every trainer that's participating. FMs are invited too, obviously. For some of our super, super small clubs that maybe don't have a huge training staff, and maybe you're an FM and you're not willing to do all 24 hours in a row, which if you're in a small club, I'd highly recommend as an FM, you just do it yourself. But let's say you're not quite willing or you're not able, it happens, then you could do like I'm going to do 12 hours and this other trainer's going to do 12 hours, but our club as a team is going to do 24 hours in a row. But for the most part, guys, we want 24 paid sessions in a row for every single person participating. We're trying to drive as much impact as possible. So FM's invited too. PT full X. Okay. Price doesn't matter. Some of you guys are going to use active clients already. And maybe in court combination with some clients or some random members that you're going to charge like a lower amount for. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The only thing is that it has to be PT full and you got to do 24. All right. We're going for official records. None of that half stuff. We're really going to make sure that we do 24 sessions. At the end of this day, we want to look back and see that as a company, we did some multiple of 24.0 sessions. Okay. So we can't be doing 23. We're going to do a full 24. And so I don't want to see half hours in there. That wouldn't necessarily add up to 24. Okay. So here's how we do it at West Central. The step one, we just open the Notes app on your phone. Should be really easy unless you're like Ben Hightoff and you have an Android because you hate everybody else. If you do have an Android, I'm sure there's other ways, probably through like Google Docs. I don't know. Maybe they have some sort of Notes app. But we'll move on. Step two, you're going to make it look like the picture on the right. So you're going to start at 12 a.m. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 11 p.m. Because your last session will start at 11 p.m. It'll be done at 12 a.m. And then step 3 is going to get people to sign up, right? And we're going to talk about that on the next slide. So how do I fill that bad boy out? So here is our options in order, okay? In order, duh. Okay, so 1, current clients. So if you're already training 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. because you're an absolute beast, or if you have a trainer that already is, this is going to be super easy for them. They're already halfway done. So you'll fill those clients in first, and then clients that maybe train on other days, ask them to come in and be a part of this amazing thing that you're doing, especially if they're already on a package. This won't seem like a big deal, and you're going to get through their package a little bit quicker, and you're going to get that renewal a little bit faster. Number 2, referrals/client family members. Obviously, client family members are referrals as well, but I think this is a great opportunity to get those family members to come in. Odds are they're already telling their family about you and how much they love you. They're going to go home, tell them about this big challenge you're doing and how crazy it is and how they really need your help. And they're going to ask their family members to train with you. It's a great way to get their family members to just try the gym or try working with a trainer, and could possibly, obviously, lead to like some long-term training. And we're going to talk about that more later. Number 3 is going to be your favorite gym members. So that member that is already sort of fit and would probably never sign up for personal training, even though they probably still need it, or maybe they're not fit and they definitely need it, but they don't think they do, but you guys have a good relationship. Ask them to be a part of this, right? They already love you. It's $60. It's a one-time thing. It has nothing to do with me trying to sign you up long-term. I promise, wink, wink. But at the end of the day, guys, I do truly believe like that is the goal of this. It's not to sign people up. It's just to do the thing and advertise. But again, we do want to turn some of these over. So ask that member that has a good relationship with you already. More than likely, they're going to say, yeah, not a problem. I'd love to do it. And they might even take some of those crazy 1 a.m., 2 a.m. times off your hands. Number 4 is going to be ex-clients. So if you look there at the top, the guy who trained at 12 a.m. with me this past year, his name is Mike. Mike was an ex-client of mine. If you bring some of your ex-clients in, they get to remind themselves how amazing this experience was working with you. And so it's a great way to get, again, a low entry point interaction with them where they get to train for another hour. Number 5 is going to be random people on the floor and out the door. We're not limited to just our club, guys. Obviously, we want you guys talking to people on the floor that aren't currently working the trainer. Those would be like your no-brainer, easy ones to ask because it's your club doing it and they're a part of your club. So please help our club, right? You get it? But out the door as well. So we got restaurants, we got grocery stores, we got clubs if you're a big partier. It doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing, guys. These people all need to exercise. We all believe that. This is something, again, that's super low entry that they just get to come into the gym, try it out, experience it, and hopefully we can get them into like a long-term program that makes sense for them. Number 6, personal, family, and friends. This is like almost towards the last resort option, but if you're like a new trainer and you don't necessarily have a lot of clients or it's hard for you to get people to sign up, asking family members or friends to participate is always a route you can take. It does still expose them to what PT is like, which I think is great and possibly could lead to long-term. I think I have 2 trainers out of the 6 that did it that have family members now training with them because they had them come train during this and their family members had no idea what it is that we did and they got to taste it and they were like, oh crap, like I think I could really use this. Number 7, our absolute last resort, please try not to do this if you can, is going to be other staff. At the end of the day, guys, we're doing this to promote health and fitness. If somebody's working at a gym, they're already being promoted health and fitness probably every single day. We want to try to reach outwards into our community and truly provide a great impact. Our staff should be promoting health and fitness either way. So we want to reach out and touch other people, but you can use other staff, obviously, if you have to. Okay, number 8, as far as our options, is to just miss and hit 23, which is similar to running 25 miles instead of 26 for a full marathon. Nobody wants to fall short by 1 or 2 sessions. And so we got to do what we got to do to fill this bad boy out. And so at the end of the day, again, if other staff is required, we'll do it. So here's how to make it easy. Okay. So if we're trying to fill it out, PT full 60 is probably the easiest way to do it if you don't already have like a bunch of clients, guys. So again, that's our lowest amount we can charge and it still be a full 1 hour training session according to our computer system. So that's going to be like number 1. You're going to probably have to use that like bread and butter, especially for new trainers. Clipboard club walkthrough. I'm going to send you guys some advertising. If you send me a text, and I'll have my information here at the end. I want to know everybody who's doing it though, so I'm kind of holding it back until you guys all message me. But what we did is we had trainers walk through the club with what looked like that notes app on their phone, as well as the advertising right next to it, because it made it easy for them to have the conversation. Hopefully a few names already filled out during the training marathon so that it looked like they were getting people to sign up, hopefully they already had some real ones too. And they're just walking through the club with clipboards. And we had like 4 trainers doing it at one time. And so all the members are like, what the heck's going on? So we talked to every single member about it and it promotes it. And again, it helps get people signed up. So we're just walking through the club. Tell the story. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that later. But one of the ways I always get my clients to sign up or my clients to bring family members is I tell the story about the first time I did it. And now I'll get to tell the story about the second time we did the marathon. Telling the story shows that this is something that we do. We've done it before. It's not some random new thing we're doing as like some advertising decision we made. This is what we do as a company because we really want to provide a massive impact. And telling that story shows that to be true. Signage up as soon as possible. So again, if you contact me, I'm going to send you all the signage. We print out signage and put it all through our club. And that makes it easier so that members are seeing it and they're wondering what's going on. Usually at this point, they know what's happening because we've done it twice. 8 no's in a row game. I have this game for my trainers normally just all the time, but it will work especially well for the training marathon is to challenge them to get 8 no's in a row and like make a game out of it where it's like, all right, try to see if you can get 8 people to say no. Nobody's ever gotten to 8, but I told my trainers if they did, I'd give them a $100 bill. Nobody's ever gotten to 8 no's on a PFA request. You're not going to get to 8 no's on doing the training marathon. Next up, have backups, guys. So last year, the first year I didn't have any problems. Everybody showed up. But last year I had one of my clients cancel at 3 a.m. But I had asked one of my close friends whether or not they keep their ringer on all night. That way, if I absolutely had to, I could call them and get them to come in. And I called them, I think like 3 times, and they woke up and they came in at 3 a.m. and they trained. They were tired, but we got it done. So at the end of the day, guys, we want to make sure we do all 24. So you're going to have some backup. So ask some family members, ask some friends. Worst case scenario, we have to talk to some employees about coming in and helping us out. Next up, do it with one hand. It's really hard to say no to a guy with one hand because you feel bad for him. I'm just kidding, guys. Please don't do that. It's just a joke because last year I only had one hand when I did it. And if I can do it with one hand, you can definitely do it with two. So you should be able to do it. But on a real note, last thing is to just be excited, right? And at a minimum, pretend. Hopefully you really are excited about helping and providing for your community. But if you can fake it, that helps a ton too. When you're excited about it and you're pumped about this big, huge thing we're doing as a club, your trainers are going to buy into that. If you act like this is the end of the world and it's going to suck and you're like, I don't really know that I want to do it. It's going to be hard and I can't, I'm going to be tired and I have kids and all this other things. And then nobody's going to be interested in doing it. But if you're excited about it, they're going to be more likely to do it. We had so much fun last year that some of our vets have came to me and talked to me about doing it this year, and they're going to be a part of it. And one of them has 3 kids. Okay. So how to close PT afterwards. So obviously long-term, we'd love to get some of these people to sign up. I told you guys we had roughly 15 people sign up for long-term training after the marathon or after being exposed to our training through the marathon. So one of the best ways is do a free session for doing the challenge. This works great when you're pitching that PT full 60 because I can tell them like, hey, here's this awesome program. Here's a story of what it is, how we do it, what we're going to do. I'd love for you to participate. They say yes to participating. You say, awesome. Great news is normally I charge $95 for a training session. For the training marathon, we're only going to do it at 60 because we're not doing this to make money. Unfortunately, I have to charge you something because I needed to show in our system that we did a training session. So we're going to be massively discounted, and I'm going to give you a free session for joining. All right. Now that free session, we're going to turn over into more of like a PFA. Okay. So you can start with and lead with that. So really they're paying $30 for a training session, which is crazy cheap. So first step in our closer framework, and we're not going to get to the E and the R today. That's what you're going to do when you get them in the next session. But we want to make sure that they come to that next session afterwards. Okay. We want this to purely be about impact. And we're going to hold true to our word by not trying to pitch them at the end of these sessions. Okay. So first step, guys, we want to make sure they show up for the next one because that's what we're going to pitch. We're going to start with C, clarify why the member works out, right? Maybe they don't work out. Clarify why they might work out or why they've thought about it in the past. You're going to ask questions, right? What are they looking to achieve? What are they hoping for? What are their goals? I mean, normal PFA stuff. And you're just talking about it casually while you're training them. Okay. L, we're going to label and identify problems with current training plan, technique, nutrition, anything. Okay. So if I have a member that's been working out for a super, super long time and they were willing to help me out and do this challenge while we're working out, I might just happen to notice some things, right? Or if they're telling me like, hey, I haven't really been making progress here. Well, I might ask about their program and then I'm going to notice some things. I'm like, oh, maybe it's this. Like, have you ever tried trying something else? No. Oh, you don't know what that is? Cool, right? You see what I'm doing? So we're going to label different problems with whatever it is that's going on, and we're going to use that as an opportunity later on. Okay, so we're going to overview how much trouble the problem is causing them in relation to what they want out of a gym. I know that was very long-winded, okay? This is our overview past pain if you're familiar with the closer framework. Essentially, we're creating a gap here for why you're needed and why they should come to that next session. So we're just going to ask some questions around like, okay, so if your knee's been bothering you, what's that stopping you from doing when it came to you, becoming stronger? Because I know that was a goal you labeled, right? And so we're just overviewing the past pain. We're asking them questions about the specific problem and how it's affected them, right? Number S, we're going to sell the vacation. That's really easy this time because all we're going to do is say, hey, I had a ton of fun working with you today. I'd love to work on that knee issue, or I'd love to work on or show you how to, change your program to where it's going to help you out even more. Why don't we work out again next time? Right? So even if you didn't tell them you're going to give them a free training session, it's a family member, right? And you didn't make them say like, oh, I'll give you a free one on top, right? It's a family member. Cool. Hey, I had a ton of fun. I want to work on this more. Let's meet next time. Eventually, guys, if you're just delivering crazy amounts of value, these people are going to ask you what it costs. They're going to say, what does it cost to work with you? Because I'm having a blast right now. And that's what we're looking for. So now you're going to get a free PFA booking. And I put a little wink emoji there, right? So after you get done with that, that gives you your opportunity to do long-term pitches and convert some of these people that signed up just for the challenge into members or into actual paying PT clients. So story time, guys. I told you guys I'd tell you the story. So in year one, I did 26.2 sessions. The 0.2 is I worked out at the very end. That's why I'm in a cutoff. I'm sorry. I had to show my arms off. I don't look like that anymore. But I did 26 sessions in a row. Originally, I was going to do 22 because I did it for my birthday and I was turning 22. And then I was like, man, that's really close to 24. I might as well just do 24 because that'd be better. And then I was like, well, that's really close to an actual marathon. I'm calling it a training marathon. I'll just do 26. Now we just do 24. I did it solo. It was way less fun doing it by myself. I broke the single day session record for a single person. And then we had the highest social media interaction company to date on our Instagram platform, which was cool. Year 2, we 6x'd it. We actually ended up doing over 200 sessions as a club because we had some other people add some additional sessions in that day just to help us out, because I said 200 was a big number that mattered to me. And so we did 66 other sessions. I think we actually did 204. We did 200 sessions. We did over 50 new business units for the challenge. We broke the single day session record for a club. And we also broke the new business unit record for a club. And then Jimmy broke it in the same month because that was November this past year. Again, we had the highest social media interaction, and we had 15 new clients long-term, and we had a ton of fun this time around rather than it being absolutely miserable. My goal for us this time was to expand it to other clubs. I already right now have Lee Summit West, Hutchinson, Salina, East Central, and Goddard all already committed. So we're at 5 other clubs committed to trying to make this happen. I'd love to get to 10. I'd actually love to get to 70 one day. But for now, the goal is to at least get to 10. I just want to see this grow every single year. And we already got 5 people that are pumped and excited about it. It's actually made me super excited about it to the point where it's Friday at 8 p.m. and I'm working on it. So that's the end, guys. If you're interested in doing this and you want to get the advertising sent to you, please shoot me a message. Again, I just am doing that because I want to keep track of everybody who's involved with it. If you have any other questions around it before you commit to doing it, again, send that same text to the same phone number. If you want me to hop on a call with your team and talk about the project and how to do it or anything in relation to personal training, again, there's my number on the screen. And if you want to call me late at night and talk to me about your burdens in your club, you can call the same number. Okay, I'm available 24/7, right? That's the whole point of the 24-hour marathon. So let's go break the single session record for our entire company. I think that would be insane. So I'd love for you guys to be a part of that record and say that you participated and helped us out.